What your textbooks never told you about World War II. World War II was one of the most powerful and tragic events in human history. It began in 1939 and ended in 1945, involving more than 60 countries and claiming over 70 million lives. Most textbooks focus on the big battles, famous leaders, and final outcomes. But behind every headline there were untold stories. Secret missions and moments that shaped our world in ways we still feel today. Let's explore what your textbooks never told you about World War II. First, there was a hidden war of intelligence and deception. While armies fought on land, a quiet but crucial battle was happening in code rooms and secret offices. In Britain, a group of mathematicians and linguists worked at Bletchley Park to break the German Enigma code. This code was believed to be unbreakable, but they did it. Led by Alan Turing, their work allowed the Allies to read Nazi communications in real time. Historians believe this breakthrough shortened the war by nearly 2 years and saved millions of lives. What's even more amazing is that this secret stayed classified for decades after the war ended. Second, women played a far bigger role than history books usually mention. During the war, millions of men went off to fight, leaving factories, hospitals, and offices empty. Women stepped in to fill those roles. In the US, the famous symbol Rosie the Riveter encouraged women to work in defense industries. In the Soviet Union, women didn't just work in factories, they fought on the front lines. They served as snipers, pilots, and tank commanders. One Soviet pilot group, called the Night Witches, flew old wooden planes at night to bomb German positions. They terrified the enemy and became legends of bravery. Third, there were millions of unsung heroes from colonies and smaller nations. The war is often told as a story of America, Britain, Germany, and Japan. But soldiers from India, Africa, the Caribbean, Canada, and Australia fought courageously too. Over 2.5 million Indian soldiers served in World War II, the largest volunteer army in history. African troops from Senegal, Nigeria, and Kenya fought in North Africa and Europe. These soldiers helped defeat fascism, but were rarely recognized in history books afterward. Fourth, science and technology transformed forever during the war. In just 6 years, humanity advanced faster than it had in decades. Radar, jet engines, guided missiles, and early computers were all developed during World War II. Medical science also progressed. Blood transfusions, penicillin, and new surgical techniques saved countless lives. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret US program, developed the atomic bomb, changing warfare and global politics forever. World War II didn't just destroy, it also accelerated human innovation. Fifth, there were acts of incredible courage and compassion amid all the darkness. Oskar Schindler, a German businessman, saved over 1,200 Jewish people by employing them in his factory. In Denmark, ordinary citizens helped ferry over 7,000 Jews to safety in neutral Sweden. Japanese diplomat Chiune Sugihara secretly issued thousands of visas to help Jews escape Europe. He disobeyed his government's orders and saved thousands of lives. These are reminders that even in times of hate, humanity can shine brightest. Sixth, the war reached places far beyond Europe and the Pacific. Fighting took place in Africa, the Middle East, and even the Arctic. In Burma and Southeast Asia, the Japanese army battled British, Indian, and Chinese troops in brutal jungle conditions. In Alaska, Japanese forces briefly invaded the Aleutian Islands, the only time US soil was occupied during the war. These forgotten fronts shaped strategies and cost. Thousands of lives, even though they're rarely mentioned in textbooks. Seventh, the war changed life at home in ways few people realize. In America and Europe, food, gasoline and clothing were rationed. Families grew victory gardens to feed themselves. Children collected scrap metal to help build weapons. Cinema, music and radio became powerful tools of morale and propaganda. Even cartoons and comic books, like Captain America, were created to boost spirits and encourage patriotism. Eighth, animals played important roles too. Dogs delivered messages, pulled stretchers and detected mines. Horses transported supplies through muddy terrain. Carrier pigeons flew across enemy lines to deliver crucial information. One famous pigeon, Cher Ami, carried a life-saving message despite being injured and became a war hero. In London, cats were used to protect food warehouses from rats during air raids. Even in war, humans relied on their animal companions. Ninth, the war's end was not the end of suffering. Entire cities like Warsaw, Tokyo and Dresden were reduced to rubble. Millions of refugees were homeless and hungry. In Japan, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki left lasting scars. Thousands of survivors suffered radiation sickness for years. And yet, from this destruction came a powerful lesson. The world needed a system to prevent another global war. This led to the creation of the United Nations in 1945, with the mission of keeping peace through cooperation. 10th, the war redrew the world map and reshaped history. Germany was divided into East and West. The US and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, leading to the Cold War. Colonized nations across Asia and Africa began demanding independence. World War II became the spark that started global freedom movements, from India to Indonesia. But perhaps the most powerful lesson of all is this: World War II was not just a story of armies and leaders. It was a story of ordinary people, men, women and children, whose courage changed history. It was about scientists who built new worlds, soldiers who fought for freedom, and citizens who refused to give up hope. And even though it was one of humanity's darkest chapters, it taught us the importance of unity, compassion, and peace. So the next time you read about World War II, remember, behind every battle and every date, there's a hidden story your textbook didn't tell you. And those stories remind us not just how we fought, but why we must never repeat the same mistakes again. And that is the untold story of World War II, what your textbooks never told you.